And I did the last movie, it was called Call to Arms, and it was kind of my character's way of passing the torch on to the next group on Crusade. And I left the studio and never came back. So that was it. And then they did Crusade, and it ended and it didn't work at all. So it kind of had a bitter end to it. We were rather bitter about it all. I think they could have continued it on with us, some of us in it, and it might have helped you, but who knows, that's hindsight now, as they say. So. Anyway. Yes, ma'am? Yes?
Hi.
My wonderful interpreter for the last 2 days, I must say.
Thank you.
She is.
Hi, Bruce.
Yes.
I'd just like to know a little more about something from the behind the scene of the TV and cinema industry. You know, because most people have a kind of a romantic view of these projects, these TV series and movies, but being involved in the industry means that you see the not so romantic aspect of the process. And also, I had a curiosity. You said before that one of the reasons Babylon 5 was allowed to be so good, it was because the executive didn't meddle too much with you, left you alone. Seems to me like an unspoken, unwritten rule. You know, the more they meddle, the executive meddle, the worse the TV series, the worse the end result at the end of the day. Is it true? Anything you can tell us about working in this field? Thank you.
All right. Well, you're asking a lot there. I mean, I can say specifically that it is an industry. Okay. I come from a very blue-collar background, so I kind of looked at it as a factory job. I would come to the factory every day, do my job, press the ticket, and leave at the end of the day. You know? I tried to not take it home with me. I always tried to leave the work at work. It is television is a very intense time. You're never sure if you're going to be on the next week. Believe me, I did many television pilots that never got sold, that never made it to the screen as a series. I've been in a number of motion pictures, big motion pictures, never as a lead, but always as a supporting player. I've always enjoyed that. Tron was one of the few leads that I had. But the industry, I think the public looks at it and they see the finished product. We as now, I can only speak as an actor, I only see a little small part of the whole process. There are so many more people involved in the pre-production, post-production, sound effects, photography, the publicity, oh gosh, there's so many, I mean, hundreds of people are involved in each project. And I never get to see this. We come in and we do our little bit, and we leave. And then they put all the little bits together, and we have a movie, or we have a TV series. God bless you. Anyway, so it's like I say, I only see my little corner of that world. But it is an industry. It is, which is rapidly changing again because of technology. Technology is replacing a lot of people, unfortunately. You have to adapt to it. The actor always has the same job. We haven't changed in 1,000 years. I mean, it's basically, now we can also be, like you saw with Tron, we can be made, we can be drawn. So actors are having to deal with animated characters now more and more. Recent movies, starting with The Lord of the Rings, the character of Gollum. He was one of the first ones. I mean, some actors today feel that isn't acting. I personally do. I think it's just another, it's like wearing another sort of makeup. You know, like the aliens on Babylon 5 had to wear makeup that covered them. Now we can be animated. It's still acting. Still acting. You still have to do the same performance. Only now you're Beowulf, or you're, what are the characters we've had now? Animated characters. Tron in Clue, in Tron Legacy. Jeff acted all of his role, all of his part. It wasn't something he did in the post-production. He actually did it. He had all these motion capture things all over his face. I did too, in the young sequences, the flashback sequence of Tron Legacy. That was me doing all of that. I'm not quite the same stuntman that they used as my body, but I did all the facial stuff. That role for the actor has changed. We have a new trick in our bag of tricks to use now in our storytelling. But I think the public perceives, to answer your question more directly, the public perceives show business as so much more glamorous than it really is. It's not. But Hollywood will never let you ever see that. We want you to think it is glamorous and romantic, and it's all these beautiful people being beautiful, and we walk around being beautiful all day, and everyone drives a limousine. And, no, that's not the case at all. Hollywood needs the illusion, and you, the audience, needs the illusion. It's important. We don't want you to see how it really is. You'd be bored and walk away. It's the magic factory. We have to keep the magic going. I think you want it that way too, don't you? You agree? Yes. Vabbè.
Allora, innanzitutto volevo sapere se ci puoi dire qualcosa, se ce ne puoi parlare di un terzo film su Tron.
Oh God.
E poi...
I would love to answer that question about a third Tron movie. All that I know is that there are script meetings. I can only tell you detail. I don't know the storyline, but I think if you watch Tron Legacy, you see the beginnings of another story. Sam Flynn says to Alan, "I'm going to take the company back." Ooh, yes, ooh, there we go. And so there's some stories that, I think that's where it's going to go. It's going to be about how does young Sam bring the story back, or the company back, how does Alan Bradley help him, and how they're going to do that. And his Clue and his minions, are they going to be reborn and come? I think they're going to try to make it into the real world, which would be interesting. I don't really know. No one tells me anything. But the plan is, if the movie is made, it would be in 2013 or 2014. The director right now, Joe Kaczynski. I have all the Polish directors. He is doing another film right now. He just started. So until he's finished, then they can maybe concentrate on Tron 3. I don't know. They just had a massive financial disaster called John Carter happen, and that might change everything. It's all about the economy. So I hope that but more importantly, I have an animated series that I'm doing now, Tron Uprising, with Elijah Wood, Lance Hendrickson. There's a huge cast, Mandy Moore, Paul Rubens, and that's coming out in June in the States on the Disney XD channel. I'm sure you'll be able to find it somewhere. XD, yes. And it's really good. It's very, very good. So, Tron lives somewhere. But I say boonga boonga.
Il suo carattere come uomo, quale dei personaggi che ha interpretato è più simile?
Well, I think every character I've played has a little me somewhere in there. I would probably say the closest to, I would probably say Sheridan and Scarecrow, strangely enough. Scarecrow was very much me when I was in my 30s. That was the 1980s, that was my 30s. So he was very much me. Sometimes I was a little short-tempered. Sometimes I was a little too gregarious. I don't know. Scarecrow was very dear to me, and Sheridan was very much me in my 40s. I don't know. I think that they're all a part of me. I put a lot of myself into them. And so it's kind of a hard question to answer. You know? They're all a little bit of you. You know, that's what the actor does. You put your own life and your experience and try to use the experiences of your life in the circumstances of the character. And that's how you react. Does that answer your question? Yes.
Ribalto la domanda. Hai invece ricordo di un tuo ruolo che non ti è piaciuto, che non hai voluto interpretare, che ti sei pentito di aver interpretato?
Oh, God. There's quite a few roles, especially ones recently. Yes, I needed to have, I have two categories in my life. There are money jobs and there are career jobs. Money jobs when you got to take a job because you need the money, okay, to pay the bills. The career job is something that you do because you know it will extend some aspect of your career. You will have people see you in another light, you know, and see you that you're able to be in a comedy, that you can do drama or whatever. There's a few money jobs I wish I hadn't done. I think there's one called Bone Eater that I don't ever want to see again. It sounded like a porno movie. But that was strictly a money job. And Transmorphers, I think that's another one that I didn't want to do, but I did it because I needed the money. But that's all. That's all. Oh, God, it follows you everywhere.
Ok. Ti piacerebbe tornare al teatro come attore o anche per una regia teatrale?
Oh, as an actor, I definitely would. Yeah, I want to, yes. But there has to be an opportunity. No one wants me. You know, I suppose if no, I would love to, but I would only want to go back and do off-Broadway or Broadway. I don't want to go do, some small theater in Idaho somewhere. I want to go, if I'm going to do theater, I want to do big theater. I don't want to do small. You know? No, I just don't. I'm an actor who's been around for a while. I have a name, I have a reputation. I want to do something where it will be noticed. When Melissa was doing the Little House on the Prairie musical, we were in New York 2-3 years ago, and I was in New York again, and I kind of got the interest again to go back, and I almost got a casting agent there, and I was, if we were going to have to live in New York for a while, certainly I would have auditioned for plays again. It's been over 30 years since I've been on a theater. I mean, that's a long time. And I think maybe what I want to do now is do something that would scare me a little to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? I would love to do something that would be risky again, because that's what brings the best out of you. Or something where I'm kind of challenged, you know, something I haven't done before. I might fail, but I'm going to give it a try. That's what I like to do. And theater would certainly be an opportunity to do that, because once you're out on that stage, once the lights go up, there's that audience. No one says, cut, let's do that one over again, like we do in television. You have to, the show is on, it's live. And there's something thrilling about that, being in front of a live audience, like you. can tell in mixed company, but, no, we have a tissue or something. God, a borza. Look at this, she's got everything, thank you. I hope I'm not catching a cold here. Anyway, funny behind-the-scenes story, many funny behind-the-scenes stories. You know, they had one on a film, they had it on a clip of, I had just gotten on Babylon 5. And remember the little speaking thing we had there? That was a little piece of resin that they glued to our hand every day, and then had to rip off and we had no hair. Anyway, in one scene, I had to dramatically go, Bridge, Sheridan here, or no, they called me, and I said, Sinclair, go ahead. And they had that on film, and they never let me forget it. Everyone laughed at me so hard during that thing. Kate and Jackson and I had a lot of outtakes that were, you know, a lot of situations where we would end up start laughing at each other, and we couldn't stop laughing. Kenny Rogers and I. Now, Kenny was not an actor.